Hello audio people, welcome back to Behind the Fader. Andrew here, and today I'm going to show you how to connect the mixing station to your digital audio board, to your mixing board. Now I will give you the right way to do that, and it will be fundamental and basic skill that required for any audio engineer in a modern world. Now I know a lot of audio engineers who have years of experience and they still have trouble with stable and basic fundamental connection, network connection or network settings. So even if you are thinking that this video only for beginners, it is not only for beginners. So it's basically tutorial how to create your network from scratch and make it in the right way. So today I'm going to use this Midas M32C console and this baby tiny Chinese router. It doesn't matter which router you're going to use, they all have the same or similar settings, so it will be applicable for any kind of router. I also have this behringer X32C here, later in this video, when we will done with the basic setup, we will do some advanced setup. So we will be able to connect two mixing boards to the one router and control them. So basically you can have two mixes through the one router. For example, one for front of house, another for monitors or for live stream, it doesn't matter. Basically, yeah, and all we need just this router, mixing boards and your controller. So for controller today I will use the iPad with mixing station on it. Okay, now before we will start, I want to really encourage you to create the document, and you should have the access, the reliable access to this document at any time. So that will be, we will collect some data during this video, during this process when we will create all this networking stuff, and you will need this data when you will operate your system. So go ahead, create the document, just pause this video, create the document, then return to this video and keep watching. Okay, so I will consider the worst case scenario today, when let's say you have some kind of router and you just it's just misconfigured and you don't know the password from this router, you basically cannot access it, and you're thinking that you are stuck. It's not a problem at all. So any router has a reset button that you can use to reset the router. Now you can think, if I will reset my router, how I will know all my passwords and network name and IPs, IP addresses, all this data on the back of your router. You will find it. If you don't have it, throw away your router. Now another note on this setup, if you have a router that doesn't support 5G network, throw it away. It's really old, you don't want slow networks, so make sure that your router supports 5G, and most of the modern routers, they support 5G. Okay, so basically how do we reset the router? You should find reset button. It could be this kind of, I would say it's a big reset button on this router, but on many routers it's just a tiny little button, like a hidden button that you should press with something really small and tiny. So you press and hold your reset button for about 10-15 seconds, and the indicator, like a status indicator on your router, will start blinking like a crazy. Again, if you will wait a little bit more than 10 or 15 seconds, nothing bad will happen. So after 10 seconds passed, just release the button and it will start to reset, and it will be reset to the default settings, and all this data which you have on the back of your router on this label will be available for you. So it will be actually data that we will be able to use, including the password, IP address, the network name, and so on. Okay, while it's doing that, let's talk a little bit about how we connect the physical connection of the router and the mixing board, right? So for that connection we will use the network cable. It's Cat5 or Cat6 cable, and you want to connect it to LAN, to LAN port on your router, not to WAN, not to WAN port, to LAN, to the local network. Okay, so that is on the router. So on the board itself you need to find the Ethernet port. Now that is a good example because on Midas and on Behringer X32 or M32C you will find Ethernet port, and you will find exact same port for Ultranet and exact same port for AES50 connection, so basically for your stage boxes. And you basically can plug this exact same Cat5 and Cat6 to these ports, but they're not gonna work. They're not gonna provide you any kind of connection to your mixing station or to your router. So make sure that another end of this cable connected to the mixing board to the Ethernet port. That is important. Okay. Also, I would suggest you to start thinking about all this system as, so let's imagine that our router is a post office and our devices are different buildings. So this is building 1, our iPad, let's say building 2, and our another board building 3, and so on and so on and so on. And what buildings have? They have addresses, which is our IP address, right? And zip codes, right? So I would suggest you to think about zip codes as about subnet masks. So in our networking setup, we will use it's two required fields that we have to fill out. It's the IP address, which is kind of address of our building, and it is the subnet mask, which is, let's say, the zip code. Okay, so let's jump to our setup for our tablet, or it could be computer or even cell phone, doesn't matter. So I am on iPad, so I will use iOS, but in an Android, settings will be similar or sometimes even identical. So I'm gonna go to settings, Wi-Fi, okay, and here I have the list of networks. So at the very beginning, at the very top, there are some networks that I already used and my iPad already have these passwords for these networks stored. And then we have other networks, and there is a list of currently available networks around me. So how do I find which network belongs to this router? That is pretty simple. Remember, on the back we have all this information, so it will be SSID or the network name, and my starts from this JL dash. So you can see that I have two of them, one of them 5G, another one is 2G, so I'm gonna use 5G. Now hypothetically I can just click on this network and iPad will initiate the process. It will try to connect, to configure the network for me automatically. This is the bad way to do that. We don't want it. So we want to have the full control under our network. So I'm gonna click on this eye icon next to my network name, and from here you can see that I can configure IP, and it's currently set to automatic. Again, I'm going to change it to manual because I want to have the full control under this network. So if it will be automatic, there is always chance that something will be automatically misconfigured. That's not what I want. Okay, so here there are two fields that are required: IP address and subnet mask. Remember, IP address is just like address of this building, of this iPad, and subnet mask is zip code. Let's think about this as a zip code. Now, what we should enter as the IP address? If you take a look on your router again, you will find the default IP of this router, and it will be 192, in my case, 192.168.H1. So in your case, it could be different, but it always will end on 1 at the end. 1 will be at the end of this address for router. So router always has 1 at the end, okay? And here for our iPad, we do not use address of this because this is a post office, remember? So we need to assign some kind of different address. And address that we will use, we will change this very last number. We will change 1 to 2. So it will be 192.168.H. Remember? So we have H here, and last digit is 1 for router, and I will use 2 for this iPad. So now post office has unique address and my iPad has unique address. Now for subnet mask, I will enter 255.255.255.0. So why is that? Because we use different number in only very last group of our address. So you see how it has four group of numbers, right? 4 group of digits, and they are separated by dot in the IP address. So it's 192 is one group, 168 is another group, H is another group, and 2 is another group. So basically having 0 here, we are explaining to our router that this last group will be available. It could be different. So all of this 192.168.H should be identical for our network, and only these numbers could be different. That's why we have 0 at the end of this subnet mask. Now 255 is just the biggest number that is available in this specific setup. That's why we're saying 255, everything busy here, everything busy here, everything busy here, everything is available here. That's what this subnet mask doing. Router is not required, we will not use it, okay? Okay, I will click save here, and now I'm gonna click join this network. Okay, so, and it will ask for the password right away. What the heck, where is this password coming from? Again, it's very simple, it's on the back of our router. So it will be your password or default password, or in my case, it's just a key, and it's a good life. Good life, I will type good life here. Now, I'm not worried about the fact that somebody will know this password because it's just a default password and I can change it at any moment in the future. We will go over this later. Okay, so I entered this password. It looks like I can join the network now. Yeah, let's wait a little bit until this. Okay, so now I have this check mark. It says no internet connection. It's perfectly fine. We don't need internet for our setup because we are on a local network, remember? What are we going to do next? I'm going to switch to the browser, and I want to access the web interface, the settings of this router from my browser. Now, how am I going to do that? Basically, I can type the IP address of this router right here in the browser and navigate to it. So I will type 192.168.h.1, and this is the default IP address of my router. I will click go. Yeah, and you definitely will see this. So it's saying that connection is not private, but I don't care because I don't have anybody on this network. It's only me, right? So it's not an internet. So it is safe. I will click show details and visit this website anyway. There is a lot of warnings. Yeah, on iPad, I will need to refresh page after that. And here we go. You can see that now I can access the web interface of this router. And the very first thing that it's asking me to do to create the new password, admin password for this router. So basically, what does it mean? It means that next time when somebody will try to access my router in this network, he will need and change some kind of configuration. He will not be able to do that because he will not know the password. So I'm gonna type, let's say, behind the fader 777. It will be my password for now. Same here, repeat it. Behind the fader 777. Okay, I think we're done here. Yep, I'll go click apply. And it will create the password. Now, these settings, this UI will be different from router to router, but there will be some elements that will be exactly the same. For example, what we are looking for at the very beginning, we are looking for network and LAN, so we need our local network, right? I just want to make sure that my network has correct IP address, and you can see that router IP address is 192.168.h.1. That is exactly matching to what we have here. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, at that point we kind of ready to go here. Now we will make some additional modifications later in the router itself, but for now basically we are done. So that is enough in order to move forward. Only one thing that I want to notice here, you can see that I have maximum number of users and it's set to 150, and you can see that I have start IP address and end IP address, and the start IP address is 192.168.h.100 and the end address is 192.168.h.249. So it means that any other IP addresses in my network for my mixing boards, in this case, should be between 100 and 249, right? So if I will use 99 or 3 or 5, it's not gonna work. Now, if I wanna expand it, I can do 250, 249 here probably, because or even 250 probably, and now it will start from, oh no, I can do 255, right? Yeah, that's right. It will start from 192.168.h.2 and it will finish on 192, 168, 254, which is perfectly fine. That's exactly what I want. So I will go ahead and apply that, so I'm not limited in these numbers, right? So, oh, no, that's not what I want. I want apply. Processing, please wait. Okay, it will process for some time. Now, what I'm going to do here on a console, on a -M32C, and basically on any mixing board, you care about automatic versus model mode and IP address and subnet mask. That's it. That's all you need to set up. So I will go ahead, I will find the networking stuff. Okay, you can see that we have DHCP server and it is currently off, which is cool. If it's on, turn it to off. Now I will go to IP address, and in my case it's already 169.254. Oh no, that's a bad address. That's not what I need. So okay, I'm gonna change it to 192. 168. H. Remember, all this data is coming from my router, from here. It's default IP address. But for this one, I cannot use 1 or 2, right? Because 1 belongs to my router and 2 belongs to my iPad. So I would say 10. Why not? So I would do 10 here. Hold on. Okay, so I have 192, 168, H, 10. Cool. And now we have IP mask, and for this one we need 255, 255, 255, 0. So IP mask should be identical on all your devices. Go ahead and save it. And that's it. We are done here. I will exit. Now let's see how we can set it up on Behringer X32 as another example. So we go to setup, click to this page select, so go to the network page, and here you can see that we have this DHCP. So if it's in yellow, it means DHCP is engaged. It's in automatic mode. That's not what we want. So we want to turn off DHCP server with this button, and then we want to set up the manual address for this board, right? So we will do 192.168.8. So these are same on our three devices. And let's say for this board, let's do 11. So remember, our Midas M32 was 10. This one 11. Why not? So I will click assign. I will go to the next line. So this is the subnet mask 255, 255, 255, 0. It's perfectly fine. And for gateway, we keep it on 0. It's not required, so we don't need to change it. Click assign and done. So we just configured our networks on our mixing boards. Cool. So let's continue with our iPad now. Okay, so we finished with this setup for network in router, 2 consoles and the tablet, right? So we are ready to try to connect the mixing station to the console through the router. Okay, so let's jump to the mixing station, and in the mixing station you have this add mixer button. Go ahead, click on it, select your board. In my case it's Midas M32, and give it a name. I would say BTF, which is behind the fader, front of house. Okay, for access mode I will select full, and for connection mode I will not use search because this is automatic. This is DHCP server discovery. I will use direct connect, and I will enter the IP address here. So take a second, try to figure out what kind of IP address, what is IP address for that. Pause this video, try to think about this post office and buildings, and just try to find out, it's just a cool exercise. Try to think about what kind of IP address you should enter here. Okay, so basically remember, this is our post office. So when we send the letter or the package to somebody, we use address of the post office itself, right? So we use the post office of our friends or relatives or wherever person we want to send it. In our case, it's this guy. It's a Midas M32C console. And remember that the IP address for this is 192.168.8.10. If you don't remember, if you forgot for some reason, you always can go to the menu and found IP address here, and you will find this number right here. Okay. So let me exit. Now that's why you need these notes. Remember about this document? That is your address book. So you need these notes, and you will need it during your production probably, because you probably will at some point need to enter all this information. Okay, so I will enter 192.168.8.10 here, which is address of this guy, not the post office, not the router. Okay, connect, and success. We successfully connected to the mixing board, and it is working. Amazing, perfect. So that is the basic setup. In the next section, later in this video, I'm going to show you how you can customize the name of this network and change the password, this kind of details, but you got the idea. So it's already working and it's already a stable connection. Okay, so we have this basic setup now. So we assigned all IP addresses for all our devices, for mixing boards, for our router, and for our tablet, right? For our controller, basically. Now, what I'm gonna do now, I connected another board to this router. So here in this router there was another LAN port available. And this is a tiny little Chinese router, but on the more professional models you will find more LAN ports, 5, 4, 6. It will be definitely more. So you can use them to connect other devices to this network. So I connected another LAN cable, another network cable to another LAN port available on this router, and to the Ethernet port onto this X32 board, right? So now we have two networking cables coming out from the router, one of them connected to this board, another of them connected to that board. And now we will try to add this board to the same mixing station. Now you don't have to change anything in the network anymore, because routing will be done through the router itself. So what we need, we will go to the mixing station, we will add another mixer. It will be behringer X32 M32. I will give it a name, let's say front of house, let's say behind the fader, front of house, and it will be X32C, it's compact version. Okay, we will do it in full mode. Don't select this search, it's automatic, we want manual control. For IP address, remember, we never use the address of the post office. of the router when we want to send the letter or package, right? So we need the address of this guy, and you should have your notes, right? Remember, I told you to write down all your information that we just collected during this video. So the IP address of this mixer is 192.168.8.11. If for some reason you didn't write it down, or if you forgot the IP address, you always can go to setup, network, and it will show you the IP address. So, okay, let's try to connect to this Behringer X32 now. Okay, you can see it's working. I can control my Behringer now from here, right? So let's talk about use cases a little bit. So you can connect up to 10 controllers, tablets or computers to one mixing board through the mixing station. So basically you can have 2 people controlling this board at the same time, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 people, doesn't matter. Or you can control 2 different boards from 2 different iPads, let's say, or you can switch between different mixers, digital boards in the same iPad, in the same mixing station. So let me show you basically how it looks like. So right now we are on a Behringer. You can see that I can control it, right? So if I will restart my mixing station really quick, I can now connect to my BTF front of house. And remember, this is a M32C console, so I can connect to this. You can see that connection was successful, and now I'm controlling this board. So that is the basic, fundamental, stable networking setup that you should know, you should learn and know how to use it. Now it should be something that you know really well. So basically, if somebody will wake you up in the middle of the night, you should be able to set it up in a couple of minutes. Because it could be the situation when somebody will invite you as the audio engineer, and then they will not have network configured. They will give you the router and the board, and they will tell you, we don't know the data, we don't know the network name, or we don't know the IP addresses. Go ahead and set it up for us. So this is the must-have skill for any audio engineers in our day. Yeah, I believe that's it for today. If you like this video and if you enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want me to cover some kind of topics on mixing station, please let me know about that in the comments below. I'm gonna film some videos about mixing station in the nearest future. So if you have any requests, please let me know, and I will try to film the video for you. I believe that's it. See you behind the fader next time in the future.